Okay, good morning. So we're up to Siman Shin Aleph, Halacha Chavav, Sif Chavav. Says the Mechaber, Ne'eman loima harofe al atzmo shehu mumcha. So we were discussing yesterday about kamiyas and how a person who is a mumcha can take a kamiyah, and if he's reliable, if the kamiyah itself is reliable, etc. So now we're saying that the person himself can tell, is believed to say that he is a mumcha, that he is reliable. Says in the Mishnah Berurah Kuf Gimel, V'uadin shene'eman ala kamiyah. Not only is he believed by himself that he's a mumcha, he's also believed ala kamiyah lo mashi mumchis, that the kamiyah itself is reliable. V'lo chashdin lei kiven lei shechaven lahachshil. We're not suspicious of him that he's out to cause trouble and to be machshel people. That we believe him. Okay. Generally, the Rabbi says it's eidech adem bisurin, and therefore he's believed. Okay, says the Mechaber Vaita Chav Zayin. Yotzin bebeitza hachargol. Now this sif talks about, let's call it alternative medicine, practices that they would do in those days, which were l'shum refuah. So the Mechaber says yotzin bebeitza hachargol. A person can go out with an egg of a chargol. A chargol is some sort of grasshopper or locust. And he would hang it over his ear, and it would relieve a person from an earache. It would relieve one's earache. And all other types of practices like this that the Gemara brings. So, for example, Yotzim bebeitza hachargol, you can go out with the egg of a chargol, of this grasshopper or this locust, or b'shen shel shul, of a tooth, what? Of a fox. Yeah, I see, yeah. Of a shen shel shul, the tooth of a fox, of a mismar hatzolov, and a nail from a tzolov. A tzolov is from a crucifix. Again, that would also, if you would take the nail from a crucifix, it would help the shum refuah for some respect. Bein b'chol bein b'Shabbos. You can go out with all of these things, not only on Shabbos, but also on the weekday. Ve'ein b'mishum darkei emoiri. This is not considered a sort of Emirite practice, which is a problem of derech emoiri. You're allowed to do it. V'chein b'chol davar shum mishum refuah, because anything which is done for medical purposes is okay. But if it's not clear that it's doing it l'shum refuah, then also mishum darkei emoiri. Then you're going to come onto these idolatrous practices, which is a problem, of course. But any type of amulet with the text that you use, it would be okay. It's only going to help. Chazal only asked those ones which they were tried but they didn't work. That's going to be a problem. And others say no. Any type of amulet which has not been tested and proven has got a problem of darkei ha'omeri. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah. Chaf Zayin and Sif Chav Zayin, Sif Cotton Kuf Tallis. But Beitzas HaChagol, Hu Chagav, this is some sort of locust. V'ayim b'Gemara, Lemai Ovdi, Kol Dvarim Eilu. The Gemara explains, each one of these things, what sort of medical benefit it has. Uvizmanom, Hayu Eilu Dvarim Ismachu L'Refuah. And back in the day, they were tried and tested procedures for medical, help. V'yesh din kamiyah mumcha, and it's got the same din as a reliable amulet. V'shari lotzes bohen kashen tluin olav, and you can go out with them when they're sort of hung on you. Ve'ein nikar boy mishum refuah. However, if it's not nikar that is refuah, then you've got a problem of darkei emoiri. Hainu she'ein nikar sheyeh refuah. V'hod muta b'dvarim hanal. We allow the previous things. Kiven sheyoimru hayoidim shel refuah mitzad haskula. People know that the beitzas hachargol or the shen shel shul, etc., are okay, and therefore have a kanika, and therefore it will be okay, and it's not a problem of darkei emoiri. Kol lachash muta kufov vafilu I adayin lo ismachi, even if it's not yet proven, ve'ein onu yoidin shemerapin, and we don't know whether it's merapeh, afilu hachi muta b'chol. Even nevertheless, it's mutter even on the weekday to kivin didoin sheish lechashim shemrapim. Since we know there are certain amulets which are merape, amrin and shema gambazei yerape. We say that even this is merape v'aviktsas k'may nikar, and it's as if it's sort of recognized. It's a recognized medical practice. Kivin sheregilas shelechashim yerape. We assume that these types of refuahs, these lechashim help medically. And in the Isra is only on those things which we don't know if they work. And there are others who are more machmir and say that unless the thing is tried and tested, then it's a problem of darkei emoiri. And the Hiksha B'Agron, the Gon in Kuf Zayin asks the Kasha, But when it says previously that you're not allowed to go out with a kamir she'ein mumcha, mashma ha b'chol Shabbat. I mean, that's the problem of Shabbos. But during the week, lechor, it's okay. V'ayim b'vushay srad shenitzchak liyashiv. He tries to answer it. V'machayle hu dover sheyesh b'chashash sakona. If there is a chashash sakona, the nearer to l'kula al meshari b'kol gavni, then everyone agrees that b'chol gavni it is going to be okay. All right, fantastic. So, good morning, welcome. Chav Ches. So let's go weiter. Now, the next three sifim are back to sort of more comfortable territory. We're not going out with foxes' teeth and grasshoppers' beitzim and things like that. So we're going back to more regular territory. And the next three sifim, or four sifim, discuss quite an important question, whether or not you can go out with a tallis on Shabbos in terms of carrying. So imagine there's no eruv, and you want to wear your tallis, but you're not wearing it properly. You want to sort of roll it up and wear it as a scarf or under your coat. So we're going to discuss all of these sort of shilas. Very interesting halachas. Okay, Chav Ches. Says the Machaba. Mi sheyesh le'maka. Oh, sorry. Before that was an introduction. It should be before. The introduction should be before Chav Tes. There's one more to go. Sorry. Mi sheyesh le'maka b'pasas ragle. Someone has got a wound on his foot. V'koishe aleh matzbeah, and he ties a coin, let's say on the sole of his foot, lahagen shelo yinogef beragle, so that he will protect him from pressure, that he won't bang his foot. V'gamu merape, and also that putting a coin there is somehow medicinal. Mutalot, but you're allowed to go out with that on Shabbos. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Kufches, v'gamu merape, putting a coin there somehow merape. Hu melosh natzur. This is a quote from the Torah. Umash mezed b'dov shein merape ela she'oisa kadei shelo yitaneh b'raglei. You get yagv b'raglei osa, which is mashma that if it's not merape, but he only does it to prevent pressure or banging on his foot, that would be osa. V'osa l'tamei b'sif chaf beis ayin shom. Aval be'eli rabba hevi b'shem kama poiskim. Da'afilu mein merape ela she'oisa kadei lahagen mitzar. Even if it's there just sort of a protective measure, not just it's not going to be merape, it would actually be okay. Gam kein mutalot seis bay. V'chein kosa b'tei sefer Shabbos v'shem areinu harav Rishmul Kaiden Nover. Va'ayin le'el b'sif chaf beis Mashe Kosvu b'shem Hagra, the Das Rambam who gam kein hochi, v'al kein im chotach etzba b'Shabbos, if a person cut his finger on Shabbos, v'kerech chatzichas beged oleh shelo yisoret b'Begodov, and he wants to tie some sort of bandage that he won't get caught or he won't damage it further, mutalot says by, then you're allowed to go out with that bandage. Miu yoseh tov sheyachruch al mokum hazeh be'ezeh smartut, better to use a bandage rather than another material, because it's not considered choshev, it's just a little bit of a smartut, it's a bit of a shmatz or something, a bandage in this bottle, gabe amaka, miu b'chol gavne tzorech lirchotz kodim mokum adam be'etzbo kadei shelo yitztab al yazeh. That it's important, if you can, to wash off the blood so that you're not going to be over problems of tzovea, of colouring the bandages. He says in footnote 80, he says, he goes, v'mokum adchag kagoin she'enim b'mal lirchotz es adam kosav lekamon. You know, you're not worried about tzovea too much. This is just sort of derech lichluch, is dirtying the bandage. Okay, mutalot says, just finish off the sif. V'davka b'kshekeshe es hamatbea lepisas ragle mi'ba'id yoim be'ezeh smartut. We're talking about where you tied it before Shabbos, this coin on the bottom of your foot, v'lo choshev a bottle, aval im kosher oz b'dova shu choshev, osalot is b'Shabbos v'chanal b'sif chof beis. Okay, good. Now we'll go back to our tallis. Chof tes. Hayotze b'tallis mukpeles al ksefov. If someone goes out on a tallis which is folded over his shoulders, dahainu shela'acha shenosno al roshei magbia shule al ksefov. So you got a tallis, and then you raise up the hem, the base of the tallis over your shoulders, chayiv chatas, because it's not wearing it, and you're just carrying a tallis in an unusual way. You're just carrying it, and therefore this is considered hitzah. But if it's sort of draped down, then shari. Because at the end of the day, since it's covering the majority of your back and your shoulders, and therefore, even though it's a bit shortened at the bottom, that would be okay. In other words, here we go. So therefore, if like me, I don't like wearing a tallis on Shabbos, walking up Golders Green Road or Brent Street. It's I don't know. There are different schools of thought. I'm not one of those, and I don't feel uncomfortable wearing it. So therefore, I would wear it under my coat. So even if I sort of wear it in the normal way of a tallis, but I just fold up the sides and I sort of tuck it into my belt of my trousers, that would be okay, because it's exactly what the Machab is saying. You can wear it under your cloak, but even though you're folding up, because the majority is covering my body and it's considered still wearing a tallis. If I were to just take a tallis and wrap it around my neck, that would be a problem. Okay, so let's do the Mishnah on that. Kufyu, Dahainu Shela Acha, V'kol Shekain, K'shesir Legamre Me'al Atzmai, and certainly when you take it off fully, V'kiplo Nasona Al Ksefa D'Chayev. If I'm just throwing it over my shoulder, like we take a tallis and we put it on before we check the sitzes, and before we actually put it with lovish the tallis, that certainly, if you do it like that on Shabbos, you chayav v'chatzas if you wear it like that. Chayav chatzas, she'ein ze derech malbush v'avelei kamasui. So if you're just sort of throwing it over your shoulder, you're not wearing it. That's not how you wear a tallis, and therefore it's a masui, and therefore you're carrying it on Shabbos. L'matzah mikseif of hainu afilu imeinu mechase b'roiv gufay. Even if you're not covering your whole body, but you're wearing it over the majority of your back, that would be okay. There are those who are machmir and say it's got to cover at least the majority of your body. So, certainly for over your shoulders and back, that would be okay. Fine. Kuf Yud Gimel, v'afal pizeh muta b'kavanosoi, b'ofen zeh miskatze ksas mematzah. You're shortening the bottom of the talus. V'kivin d'shal kol ponim mu'utafu ad lematzah miksefov, since it's lower than your shoulders. It's not sort of just dangling around your shoulders. V'afal gav shemagbia shulav mematzah. Even though you're raising the hem of the bottom of the talus, shari, that would be acceptable. Delis atif kol gufay. Because it's difficult to wear a tallis in the regular way like you would wear in shul when you're walking in the street, even if you're wearing a coat on top of it. So again, let's just finish off. Okay, I'll explain this Mishnah in a second. So what emerges from Chavtes is that if you've got a tallis on Shabbos, to wrap it around your shoulders in a way that you don't normally wear a tallis, that is a problem of, you're not being malbish the tallis, it's considered a masa, and therefore you're chayav chatas. If, however, you wear a tallis normally, or even if you just drape up the bottom of the tallis and you tuck it into your trousers or something like that, since it's covering the majority of your back and shoulders, that is considered acceptable. Okay? Good. Let's go weiter. Lamed. Now, you are allowed to go with a tallis around your neck in Rosh Hashanah. Says the Ramah, this obviously seems to contradict what we just said, right? Says the Ramah, Afal pishe meniach sad yamin al ksefai shall small, the derech lelov shekach v'lo have lesnois v'shari. Even though your sort of one end is going dangling down and the other not, that's the way to wear it. If that is the way to wear it, then it would be okay. Says the Mishnah Bura, our question, Sif Cotton Kuf Tesvav, this doesn't contradict what we just said. Because it depends on the custom of how you wear things. And here we're talking about where the minhag is to wear a tallis or a scarf or of some sort in this way. In this situation, in this sif, if it's the common practice to wear it in this way, you're allowed to fold up your tallis and wrap it around your neck. The derech malbush husham, because in this Medina, in this country, it would be okay to wear it in this fashion. It's no different to a scarf that the Mishnah Berurah, that the Shulchan Aruch permits in Sif Lamadalet. Or Mashakosov Bahaga, and what the Ramah writes, Afal Pi, etc. Mekoy Meshayach Lesoif Chavtes v'Chanal. Now, i.e., that Ramah, the end of the last line of the Mechaber in Chavtes. Where is it? Sorry, when in the Mishnah Berurah in Kuf Yudalad we said Kan Shaykh Hagod Sif Shachazeh. He says that the Hagah is really going on Chavtes, i.e. the Ramah says Afal Pisha Meniach Sad Yamin Al Ksefay shall small Derech Lelov Shekach V'Le'av Ela Lehisnois V'Shari. He says it's going on the end of Chavtes on the previous Sif. However, if he has a V'Bia Hagra Mashbashim Afarish to Mashakosov Shulchan Aruch Tallis Sovat Tzavor Hainu Sheshnei Sidon Sidei Ha'Elyon Haya Mekubetz Umunach Soviv HaTzavor. That's when it's both ends are wrapped around the neck. But the middle part of it is actually draped down. And if so it depends. There's a debate about whether this Ramah, this Hagar, goes on the last sif or this sif. But either way, what emerges is this: that if it's the derech of the Medina to take a talis and to wrap it around your neck and to wear it as some sort of scarf, that would be okay. However, I don't see that's not a contemporary practice, certainly in our society, and therefore, unless it's a dedicated scarf, wearing a talis in that way would be a problem. And the only way to wear it is to wear it as a proper talis, and just to, if you want to wrap up, sort of fold up the bottom of the talis, that would be okay, but not too much. It should at least cover the majority of your, as much as your body as you can.
Okay. We're worried about it being a massa.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Lamed Aleph. Let's just do one more. Lamed Aleph. If someone goes out with his talis on Shabbos, v'kipla mikanu mikan b'yodei al ksefei, and he then folds it on either side over his shoulders, im nischaven lekabetz knofov kadei shelo yikaru, kadei shelo yislachlu. If he's doing it to protect the end of the beged, then it's also. But if he's doing it because that's the fashion, that's how you wear it. So it all depends. The whole heta over here is to wear it as a beged, and therefore, if this is the way of wearing it, that would be okay. But if you're doing it as a protective measure, then that's not derech malbush, and therefore it would be a masui. V'hani mili b'tamitzes shelohem shoyuriya achas murubas, where it's like a square talus. But if you're wearing not a talus as in the talus that we wear, like in a shul talus, but here he's referring to talus as some sort of cape, some sort of mantle, some sort of cape like that. Muta litvos ksosum biyodo lagbia kadesh lo yislach chushulov batzit or kadesh lo yagvu lo leches. Then that would be okay, because that is a derech malbush. And if you're wearing like a long cape and you just want to fold up the edges a little bit, that they shouldn't get dirty, it hasn't lost its status as a malbush, and therefore it would be okay. So you want to wear a Batman outfit or whatever Superman outfit on Shabbos for whatever reason. Purim Mashulish this year, and therefore you want to wear it like that, and you're doing it, that's a malbush, so therefore you just want to roll up the sides a little bit, then l'chara that would be okay. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah Lamed Aleph, Sif Katan Kuf Tezayin. Nischavin lekabitz knofov, hainu, shenotal shnei ktzovos, you take two ends, shelefonov, uv'lachrov, letzad yamin, v'chein shel tzad small, v'kiplan v'yigbin al yodoi, al ksefa, and then you fold it and you wrap it around your arm or your shoulders. And this is different to what we spoke about in Chavtes. There, the whole thing is wrapped around your neck, and therefore it was more problematic. It's just the ends which are somewhere around your neck, but the rest of the body of the material of the beged is drooping down, and therefore and then it's not a derais anymore, it's only a drop on, and therefore it's an issa, not a chiyuv, and it depends on your kavon. If your kavon is a malbush, that will be okay. If your kavon is that the beged shouldn't get dirty, then it's a problem. Avam mabushim didon hatam zakati nisha olav etzem habeged. But if you're wearing a cape, the difference is that it retains its status as a beged, derech malbush, or mash b'achreinim da'afa pikein ein lahakel magbir k'tzas. But still, even if you're wearing your cape, don't roll it up too much, because at some point it will lose its status of a beged. Avalo lagbir harbe, sit and tachas azroya, to put it literally under your arms, the nasa kamarzev, it becomes like a drain pipe, and therefore it will be a problem. Okay, umoitzi yodem mitoicha, kuf yutches, mashma, the kasheina moitzi yodem mitoichan, it's mashma that if you can't put your hands through it, could go in mantelach, shal noshim, or shul mantelai, which he says at the bottom is a shechmia, which is like a cape, shel Ashkenazim, osalag biyam, the lav derech malbashu, mikol mokum nira de'ein lahachme el lagbia harbe. It's only a problem if you're going to raise it a lot, avloi ma'at kadesh lo yislachich, but a little bit, so it shouldn't get dirty, da'dain derech levishu, that would still be derech levisha, and therefore would be okay. So just to summarize what we've said, the first part of the shir was talking about where the contemporary, or in those days, the practice is to go out with Beitas Hatar Nagol and Shen Shel Shual and other things, then that would be okay if it's Mishum Refuah. If it's not mishum refuah, then it's a problem of darkei amoiri, and therefore you should avoid it. And at the end he says that one should only, yesh mi shechashash b'chol k'mir she'eino mumcha mishum darkei amoiri. Anything which is not tried and tested, it's got a problem of darkei amoiri. Okay, nowadays we don't do any of these things, and therefore it's not really of relevance to us. But the next, the seifim of Chof Test to Lamed Aleph, and that is wearing a Tallis on Shabbos when there's no Eruv could be a problem of Hotzah. If you're wearing it like as a scarf, so if you take a Tallis and you just wrap it around your neck, and it's not the contemporary way to wear it, then you've got a problem. But wearing a Tallis in an ordinary way, or even wearing it, let's say, under your jacket or under your coat, and you just fold up the bottom part of it and you wrap it around your waist, that's no problem because it still retains the derech malbush. Wearing a cape, which is a dedicated levush, that would be fine. And of course, even rolling it up would be fine as well, but not too much, so it doesn't lose its status as a cape. And if the practice is to wear this tallis and it's in a way which is sort of the edges are folded up but the body is going down, if that's the way of wearing it in that location, that would be okay. But if you're doing it, it's not the way of wearing it, and you're doing it just to protect it, then there might be a problem. Say it up. Okay.